I'm Melissa. I am a 41-year-old mom in Tennessee, and I'm gonna do my first bodybuilding show. I think the biggest thing about me and what people are most interested in is the fact that I have lost, I think, like 160 pounds now. So I don't see a lot of people like me stepping on stage, and I know it would scare the heck out of a lot of people, but I have to do it to prove to people that you can do it. Like you can do big things, big scary things that other people aren't doing. And that's a big reason why I have been so open about my journey and about the struggles and all of the different things that we go through the entire way because I haven't seen my story yet. I feel like I'm kind of blazing the trail for the used to be fat girls, as taboo as that is to say. But I came from a really far out of shape place to competing in women's physique. So it's a big thing.
What really kind of was that final thing, that final straw, maybe, or was it maybe a collection of events that led you to want to just finally make that change?
It's emotional. If you've watched my stories, I get emotional really easily. So just bear with me. Like I said, I'm a mom and my son was, I think, 3, and I was like 298, 299, like about to hit 300. And we're playing outside, and I'm sitting in like a plastic lawn chair, and the chair broke. And my son is like, "Oh, mommy, are you okay? You're okay." And he's like, we can get a bigger chair. We'll get a new chair, And it was just so heartbreaking for me that he was, you know, 3 years old, and he's that concerned about, am I okay? Am I okay? And I thought, man, this is just gonna get worse. My child is going to watch me continually get less healthy, not be able to play with him, can't keep my breath to kick a soccer ball with my kid, and I don't want my child to have to bury me in his teens because I can't get my life together. That's so selfish to not give your child a great childhood and a great life, being active with them because you're so concerned with your own comfort and what makes you feel good. So I just like came in the house and I ripped everything out of the kitchen, and I just immediately started getting online, like trying to look up all the things for health wise because I knew I had to get my nutrition right first. That's a lot of people try to do too much at once. And I was like, I've got my problem is eating. Like, I'll work if I feel like it. I have no problem going to the gym, but I just have binge eating issues. I've had a history of different EDs, which I think a lot of us come from that place and we end up over here. And I wanted to get that fixed first. So I got so strict and watched every single thing I put in my body. And I think I lost the first 100 pounds in 8 months.
Wow.
And then just sort of my mom's like, well, you're doing really great. What are you gonna do about like working out? And my mom was a bodybuilder before I was born. Like she got pregnant with me while she was bodybuilding. And she's like, if you would just lift weights, if you would just lift weights. I was like, Mom, I said it. I said, Mom, I don't want to get big. That's the exact opposite of where I am now. But she was right. Like, as soon as I touched a weight, it just changed the entire journey. It changed my metabolism. It changed the way that my body looked as it lost weight. And I think that, like, incorporating the weight training in not only like helped my body so much, but mentally it taught me what I needed to be consuming nutrition wise to fuel those workouts and to get the aesthetics that I wanted.
At what point did you start doing the weight training and stuff? Was it post that 8 months or was it during that?
No, I think I had to start out because my knees were so bad for carrying that weight for so long. I started with like aqua aerobics we have like a really nice huge gym here. So I did the aqua aerobics and I'd get on the bike, and my husband is a firefighter and he just like lifts all the time. And so I just kind of like would go in there in the free weight section with him sometimes and do some stuff. And I was on YouTube one day and found Dana Lynn Bailey. I think probably like 85% of us got here finding Dana Lynn Bailey, at least the females. And I was like, hey, I like her shoulders. Let me see what she's doing to get shoulders. So I'd start doing that. And she'd put out like workouts. So I just started doing what she was doing and just fell in love with it. Like the minute that I started deadlifting and realized, oh, I'm strong. Like I'm actually like above average strong. Just no looking back. Full throttle.
Are you a personal trainer, online fitness coach, or gym owner on the verge of burnout? Are you wanting to grow your fitness business but can't add more hours to your hectic schedule? Introducing Trainer Revenue Multiplier, the premier wealth creation system for fitness professionals that helps you earn more and work less. Visit www.trainerrevenuemultiplier.com today to schedule your free business accelerator session. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, schedule your call today. How long for you did it take to maybe not lose the motivation, but like maybe slow up on that motivation when you hit a point where it's like, all right, I'm starting to feel like I want to go back. Like not that I want to go back there, but I'm starting maybe to have the desires, the urges to eat binge, or I'm having the I don't feel like going to the gym today, or I don't feel like going for a walk,
Yeah.
or how long did it take you to get to that point?
I think it was when, like, I know I lost the first 25 pounds in like a month. It went quick because I cut my sugar and everything because I knew it's like I'm a sugar addict. That's going to be a problem for me. We're not going to have it around. And I know that's going to be like an issue for a lot of people and it's really hard, and that's like one of the worst withdrawals ever is the sugar. But it wasn't until I had lost about 30 pounds and things slowed down for a couple of months. And I was like really craving things. I had like mental stuff, family stuff was happening. Mom had a stroke, things were getting like, and that's like food is the thing that made me feel better. When there was nothing else, I knew I could eat something and I'd feel better. And I was like, I really, really want this thing. But I was in a really great community of other women who were losing a lot of weight. We were kind of like a little team together, and we just like lean into each other and talk to each other and push through it. And I did start allowing myself to have small amounts of things and not so much binge. So it kind of curbed it. But I think like 3 months in, it was getting pretty hard.
You said you had a pretty good community, a strong community. Where did
Yeah.
that come from? Was that gym, or was that online, or where was that?
It was online. I found a group of girls on YouTube that it was like a extreme weight loss kind of group. I'm still friends with like three or four of them. One of the women I met in this group, we met previously in another group because we had our sons the same day. It was so crazy. But then she decided she needed to lose a lot of weight too. But we would just everybody'd be uploading their YouTube videos. I never uploaded any. I was just watching, but we'd have our little Facebook group too, and we just check in with each other and kind of touch base, say, hey, how you doing? We'd share recipes and stuff like that. I think it's it's what's instilled in me how important community is, and it's kind of like leaned over into the bodybuilding how important the community is because nobody else really gets it, especially when you're trying to lose a large amount of weight.
Mhm.
You need somebody to be like, hey, because my husband's in shape. He's always been in shape, football player, fireman. Like, he doesn't want to listen to me talk about this stuff. Like, he would because he loves me, but it's easier to talk to somebody who's in the thicket with you, you know.
Did that community and having like those conversations with people like that, did that start to like open you up? Like, on that level to be able to talk about those kind of things more?
I've always been super outgoing. I was a theater kid, drama major. I was always like in musicals and choir and everything. But I think I developed the talking about experiences out of necessity because growing up, I didn't have anyone to talk to. My sister's 13 years older than me. She was gone by the time I started having any kind of problems, you know. Mom worked all the time. Dad wasn't going to talk to me. So I never really had anybody to share experiences with, or like nobody taught me about, even though mom was healthy, she was not home. No one taught me about nutrition. Nobody taught me how to take care of my body. Nobody taught me how to talk about my feelings and navigate through the hard stuff that I was going through, which is how I got as big as I was, because I was like, oh, the food will make it better, you know? So I feel like, not that I am like I have to be open and talk about things, but if I can shed some light on the good parts, the bad parts, like all of the little things to make it easier for someone else, or at least just navigate it a little more smoothly so that they have better results, that's what I'm gonna do. Like, even if I'm not comfortable with it. Yeah, I'm fidgeting a lot right now because I am very like, I'm not shy, but I have a lot of anxiety, like social anxiety. But if I can help somebody else avoid all of the traumatic things that I went through to get here, that's what I'm gonna do.
Do you feel like that has been a big part of this prep too, is like getting on Instagram and
Yeah.
sharing like, okay, this is what my workout was like, or this is what I'm currently, emotionally going through, that it kind of gives you that outlet to then not go and act out of plan because you're looking for another way to kind of get those emotions out.
Yes. Yeah. One of the best parts about deciding to go on YouTube and put the prep on YouTube was it holds me so accountable because every week I'm going to upload. Like there's no like Melissa's backing out of the show, because now we have a following and like people are watching you. You got to do the thing. So I don't know. It's really great for holding me accountable, but it's also like people I never would have met or come in contact with cheering me on from all different walks of life, whether they're like on a fitness journey, which most of them are, like men or women on a fitness journey, that are like, oh my gosh, nobody's been this real about it and just like talked about even all the ugly stuff. Nobody's like ugly crying on camera. All the other influencers are like editing all their stuff out. And I was like, I would want to know how it is. You know, before I was even really deciding to do a show, but I was looking at stuff. I just look on YouTube at girls doing their preps while I was doing my cardio. And I couldn't find anybody that looked like me. I couldn't find anybody with my story, at least not a physique girl, and barely any women's figure girls. That there's just no girls that were obese. They started little and they built muscle and they did a show. There was nobody like me. I was like, well, I guess it's got to be me. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's, it helps me, I think, more than it helps everybody else. Like at least mentally, to just sort of have a place to just put it out instead of just stuffing it all down.
Near the beginning, when you did start to, go through starting at the gym and lifting the weights, I mean, tell us a little bit, I guess, about what that was like, just to see that transition.
I was definitely one of because like I said, I would go with my husband a lot. He's my safety net. He's my blanket. He is he's my little thing that makes me feel better. Um, I had that anxiety about being in the gym and especially lifting weights and being in the free weight section of I'm a girl. Like I know a lot of women have that same anxiety and don't feel like they belong, especially being overweight. Like everybody else in the free weight section, it's 20-year-old college dudes. They're shredded, their biceps are out, and I'm over here and I've got like 10-pound dumbbells, right? So it's a lot of feeling dumb and out of place and like you have no idea what you're doing. And it was just that over and over again every day until I started to know what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then lifting heavier and heavier weights and realizing it was, it's pretty cool moving up in the dumbbells, especially like on upper body days. And it's like, oh, today I pressed the 30s. And then I remember when I got like a PR like shoulder pressing the 65s. And I texted my husband and I'm just like, he's like, yeah, okay. And I was like, you don't understand. That's the coolest thing I've ever done. And my mom was actually with me the day that I pulled 315 conventional. And because I knew I was going to go for it. So I brought her with me. She was like a month out from having a stroke. And I brought her to the gym with me. I was like, Mom, I need you to cheer me on. I need you to tell me I can do this. And I I pulled it easy. And she said, Melissa, that's only a little bit more than what you used to weigh. And I just lost it. I just lost it because it's such like I couldn't even move my body functionally at that weight, but I picked it up, and it's such a cool, like empowering feeling. And I think I'd been lifting like a year and a half when I decided, okay, I have to teach other people to do this. So I started getting my personal trainer certification and working with other women and doing group fitness classes and stuff. So it's like once you get that bug of lifting the weight and feeling your body work properly and getting stronger and stronger, uh, just the emotional and mental benefits, like you just become a totally different person. Like you can do anything. Anything that you do with your body like that, and especially like weight training, bodybuilding, sculpting, changing the way you look is just a constant reminder of how far you've come because you can look at it every day. It may not change, especially like for us, it may not change every day. It takes a long time, but especially like that's why I tell all of my clients take progress pictures. Like I don't really care that much about the scale. I want to see pictures of you because you can look from week to week and see what a big difference you're making. And if you're just training for strength, the number on the bar doesn't lie. Like if you did 135 last week and this week you've got 140 on there, that's real factual evidence that you are improving. And what makes you feel better than that? Like nothing.
Do you currently have a bodybuilding coach, or is it
Yes.
okay? So
Yes, I have a coach.
so was it someone that I guess pre the bodybuilding coach, did you A, have another trainer? Was it your husband? Were you just kind of figuring stuff out, or where I guess along the way it might have changed a little bit?
I think most of like everything when I first got started, I either found on the internet or was my husband. When I was doing competitive powerlifting, my husband was my coach. So he coached me through all of that. Um, and now he's just sort of does his own, he lets me do the bodybuilding and lets the coach do that because he's like, I can get you strong, but like I don't know how to make you shredded. So you just pay somebody to do that and it'll be fun. But he definitely taught me a lot of the basics. He's very old school, banging, clang, four four sets of 10 to 12 kind of guy, like, but it worked. It worked. Um, a lot of consistency. Did he very much instilled in me like don't skip around a bunch, stick with the same thing, same routine for a long time. Don't switch out your workouts too much. But everything else is like I said, I'd get on and Dana Lynn Bailey came out with the REL Run Everything Labs Purpose trainer, and it was like a 28-day trainer, and I would just run that on repeat. But it was a whole lot of the same. 4 sets, 5 sets of 10 to 12, you and your squat, bench, deadlift, having different like accessory days.
Are you a personal trainer who wants to scale and grow your business online? Have you been coaching online for years, yet don't know how to incorporate online into your current business model? Introducing Trainer Revenue Multiplier, the premier wealth creation system for fitness professionals that helps you earn more and work less. Visit www.trainerrevenuemultiplier.com today to schedule your free business accelerator session. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, schedule your call today. The Weight Room Podcast is thrilled to announce our new sponsor, Prime Science. They're leaders in harnessing scientific research to revolutionize your fitness journey. With a firm foundation in the latest health sciences, Prime Science offers innovative products to help you achieve and surpass your fitness and health goals. These tools are more than just accessories. They're the result of rigorous scientific research aimed at optimizing your health. Dive deeper into how you can transform your approach to fitness at primescience.co.uk. Trust me, with Prime Science, you're in scientifically sound hands. Did you set an initial goal like, hey, I want to reach this weight, or I want to be able to do this certain thing, and then maybe after a while, did that goal change, or did you set like really specific goals?
I didn't give myself like a time limit. I'd got 2 glass jars and the little marbles, and I had like weight lost, or weight that I still had, and weight lost. Like I wrote on there with little gel glitter pins, it was super cute. And I got 100 marbles. And I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing. And before I knew it, all the marbles were gone out of here and they were in here. And then I'm like, well, what do I do now? You know, but I I swapped over after the 100 pounds to not caring so much about the weight and caring more about my performance. And that's when I got into a lot of HIIT training. I was doing like some strongman type stuff. I was doing some CrossFit. Like I was a squirrel. I was everywhere. I was doing everything. I was in great shape. I could do a muscle up. I was like, look at you. But I've really started focusing more on my performance, what my body's able to do, how much can I lift, can we get stronger? And I just kept losing weight. And I was like, oh, you don't actually have to focus on that number on the devil box. If you just do the work and eat for whatever you're training, it just kind of happens. It's funny how that works. My body's completely different now than it was when I was powerlifting. Like the 190 pounds powerlifting looked totally different than 190 pounds doing anything else. I didn't look like I was 190 pounds. I was real strong. But it's like, and then I think when I was doing CrossFit, I got down like in the 150s again, because I mean you're doing so much cardio, you're burning so many calories. I was just so super lean. And then this body at like, what am I, like 141? Completely different. Like your body is going to change and put the muscle and the leanness where it needs to be for the activity that it's doing, which is so crazy. I love it. I love the science. I love science, period. But just like the way it works and your body just knows what to do and adapt is so damn cool to me.
Did you have any reservations or any fears maybe at all about like getting into bodybuilding because of the diet side and because of, okay, what's going to happen when I do start to restrict, or when I do start
Yeah.
to become somewhat obsessive about like every single thing that I'm putting in my body, or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had so many, and it is a struggle. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you and say I don't struggle, because as a person who had history of binge eating, um, this is one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life, because you literally cannot. Like that is the forbidden no, no. You have to discipline yourself so much, but it has forced me to find other outlets. Like I've learned to do a lot of things during prep and during that. I haven't had a issue with ED for at least 7 or 8 years now, since before I started losing weight. But it will force you to take yourself out of those thoughts, process where they're coming from, and find other places to put it, like in a much healthier way. It's definitely, I know a lot of people like to say that like bodybuilding is disordered eating, but I think it has been one of the things that has healed my relationship with food more than anything, because I'm legit just eating what my body needs to do a very specific thing. So I'm learning so much, and it's not like it's going to last forever. You can't be in prep forever. You cannot be in a caloric deficit for a prolonged amount of time without just absolutely destroying your hormones and your metabolism. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You're doing this for a very short amount of time, but I think if anything, it has made the relationship better. But to sit here and say like, oh no, I don't still struggle at all. We're evolved. No, dude, this is some hardcore stuff.
So when you decided to, I guess, start doing bodybuilding and getting into, well, just getting into sport, did you get into like a transition period before you got into a prep, or what was that like for you?
So I prepped previously. I prepped for a show that I was going to do out west in 2021. I think I was 11 weeks out when I fell at work and cracked my patella, like screwed my whole knee. My knee was gone. It was not a good situation at all. So that took me completely out. And after that depressed me so much, like, which I'm sure you can understand if you've had any sports injuries. The mental part is so much worse than the physical part. So I think I gained probably 40, 50 pounds after I tore my knee up, and was just in the worst in July when I decided to do this show. I was in the worst shape that I have been in since I started losing weight 7, 8 years ago. So embarrassing, but that's why I post pictures, because I was almost 200 pounds again when I started this prep. And I just decided I was like, the only way I'm going to do this is if I make a commitment to get my ass in gear and do this and hire somebody to help me figure this mess out, because this is ridiculous. My knee is fine now. We're totally rehabbed. We're recovered. I can do the thing. But I don't know, man. It has been really hard. I would never do it again. I have specifically told my coach, I was like, all right, man, we are never prepping this. I've been in prep since September. I've been in a caloric deficit for almost as long as it takes to grow a baby. Okay. I could have had a child with the time that I've been in prep for one show. I told him, I was like, we're never doing this again. We're never going to be more than like 16 weeks out. I don't know what we got to do to like stay there, but I am not ever getting that out of shape again. It was horrible. Do not recommend. I would definitely recommend coming from a healthy place, like a healthy body fat percentage, not like 35% body fat before you start a bodybuilding show.
Did you go in with maybe any preconceived notions or like any expectations about what that should or would look like? Or was it like, all right, I know if I just put in the work, then I'm going to get to where I need to be?
Honestly, I was talking to my best friend about this earlier today when I took my check-ins this morning. I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I could get to here with my body. I didn't think it would look like that, because obviously coming from 300 pounds, I have loose skin. a lot of it. I've had cellulite on the back of my legs for my entire life. Never thought it would come off. You know, like there's so many things that terrified me about stepping on stage because I know the imperfections of my body because of my circumstances. Just that it's gone now and I'm not scared about those things. Like I know they're there and I know the judges are going to see them. Okay, it doesn't discount the fact that I've absolutely worked myself just like anybody else that steps up there, right? But I didn't set a weight goal for myself. I didn't have a picture in my mind of what I wanted to look like on stage because I didn't know what I was capable of. But like it's so clear now. I think I had to get into it deep enough to realize that it was actually going to happen. Like I'm actually, uh, I think there was a point, like 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was just kind of laying in bed and I got really emotional because I was like, I'm gonna pull this off. Like I'm gonna do this and it's actually gonna be really good. Like it's gonna be way better than I thought it could be. And it's crazy. It's such a fantastic feeling. Like when you realize that you have put in so much work. You have sacrificed so much time with your family. You've sacrificed your comfort and it's actually working. Like it's funny how when you do the plan and the thing that the people tell you to do, that it like actually works. It's weird how that goes.
So laying in bed that time that you mentioned and having that realization, was that kind of the first time that you had that realization of like, okay, I am gonna get there. Like the
Yes.
day will come and I will be there. It's not gonna, it's not gonna happen again where I'm not in that position.
Yeah, no, I've gone through most of this prep thinking, dude, my legs are not gonna come in. I'm not gonna pull this off. Like I'm still gonna step on that stage, but it ain't gonna look it's not gonna look good. But I don't know, something clicked. And I think what I was like watching back because my husband edits all of my YouTube vlogs and he'll send them to me to go through and be like, hey, do you want me to change anything? I think I was like watching one and I was doing posing and I was like, hang on, that is you. And I was like, I don't recognize myself. You are actually gonna do this. So like even having like I did not go into this and have not been just like super confident and rah, we're gonna do it. This is gonna be so great. I've been terrified the entire time, but I'm doing it anyway. You know what I mean? I think that's a really big thing, not just in fitness or bodybuilding or anything, just life in general is just like you gotta get your fear and wrap your arms around it and just carry it with you and do it anyway. It's gonna suck, but it's gonna be so cool on the other side. Like all the things you're gonna learn about yourself is just gonna make you untouchable, like
Mhm.
mentally.
Because of that acceptance, I guess, how has your prep gone since then? Have you noticed like changes in training or just the way that you handle things or anything like that?
Not that I wasn't just like going hard, because I've been going hard all prep, but making sure that I'm doing everything with intention. Because I know it's really easy to get in there and just do the reps, but making like doing real reps that count, you know, and eating with intent. Like I haven't been off plan at all, which is crazy, crazy town to me. Um, but just really making sure every gram is right, every meal time is right, just really doing 100%, making sure I'm sleeping. My sleep is like the biggest thing. Like I'll neglect sleep before anything else. I'll neglect my personal time, like meditation has started happening, like really taking care of my mental and really building closer relationships with my son and my husband. Like everything just sort of changed. And I was like, if I can do this, the bodybuilding thing, which is very hard, like I can make every part of my life better because I'm driving the bus, I make all of the decisions that change the outcome of every day and every moment. So I'm just sort of like, I don't know, it's turned me into like this really annoying to a lot of people, but really positive, like ray of sunshine. I don't know. I dig it, but I think it really isn't. I'm definitely annoying my sister, but whatever. She annoyed me for years. So it's my turn.
I think a lot of people get into bodybuilding and it almost goes the complete opposite direction where
Oh yeah.
bodybuilding is everything. And I think that I've talked to so many people, so many bodybuilders now that are at the highest level. And a lot of times like they'll talk about bodybuilding, but they have so much more going on, whether it's like a business or, they're a mom or they're a dad or they have like another career outside of fitness and bodybuilding as a whole, or like they have so much more that their life is about than just bodybuilding.
Yeah, because I think to be great at this sport, like, yes, you have to be selfish because you need so much time. All of your meals are going to be different. You're not going to eat the same thing as your family ever. Like ever. I haven't had a meal that's the same as anybody in my family since September. Um, but you have to realize that after the show and, after bodybuilding, these people are still going to be in your life. You're still going to be an individual. Your family's still going to be here. You're still going to have other things that you want to do. And you can't ignore those things and neglect those things. Heaven forbid you neglect your marriage and your children for a sport like for bodybuilding. That's insane to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I know 100% I would not be successful and I would not be doing as well as I am if I didn't have that relationship with my husband and with my family, that they could be so supportive, and I can talk about all of these things with him. Like my husband and I will sit down for something I learned from Jordan Peterson, whether you like him or not. You have with your spouse, you have give them 90 minutes a week at least that you're doing your, what did he call it? Your relationship economy. So you're talking about your feelings, you're talking about the kids, you're talking about work, you're catching up. It's like, have you got any problems with me this week? If I got any problems with you, how do we fix this? What do we talk about? Like, if you don't have those strong core relationships, this prep is going to be so hard. This sport is going to be so hard because it is so lonely. Because unless your spouse is right there doing it with you, you are walking down the road alone, and it is hard. It took me at least the first half of prep to come to him and be like, "Look, I know you don't. This is not your thing. This is my thing, but I really need to talk to you about it." And it would have been so much easier if I would have just done that from the beginning and felt okay talking about it. But like now it's really good. And if I could just I get other people to understand, like you said, if focusing on not just this one thing and making sure everything is good, because there's so much more to our lives. I'm definitely more than a bodybuilder. I'm first and foremost a mother. It's my favorite thing in the entire world, the best thing I've ever done. And to if I were to sacrifice some part of my relationship with my child for very much a selfish, like I'm the one that benefits from this, right? Like if I win the show, like yeah, he'll be like, "Yeah, mommy's so cool, right? You did so good." But like it's very selfish and it's just for me. I'm not gonna not have a great relationship with my child because I'm spending all this time in the gym. And like if I have to stay up a little later to have some movie time with him, cool, that's what we're doing. You know, yes, I'm hungry, but I'm gonna sit here and make these chocolate chip cookies with you, and I'm not gonna eat any of them, but we're still gonna do it. I'm not gonna not make treats with you because I can't eat them. It's insane. It makes no sense to me.
The Weight Room Podcast is proud to be partnered with Prime Science. our new sponsor and a trailblazer in health technology. Prime Science is dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what's possible in health and fitness through extensive research and scientific validation. Their products are a testament to their commitment to safe, scientifically backed health optimization. To learn more about how Prime Science is redefining fitness with valid science, visit primescience.co.uk. Join us in embracing a future where fitness meets rigorous scientific practice with Prime Science. This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout. You mentioned at the beginning the fact that, like, your mother you competed before you were born, and now, obviously you compete, and you're talking about your child and talking about the relationship that you want to have. And have you thought about or considered how you can influence them also in their own, not necessarily in hey, this is, these are what macros are or whatever, but how you can influence them in their own psychology of what it is to be healthy and be fit and to take care of yourself and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, we implement that he's 12, so it is a struggle because he knows everything. I don't know if you have children or are around children to know once they're 12, they know more than you. Okay, we are dumb now. Um, but I try to have, I don't want to, we don't do bad foods in this house. We're not going to do it. We're not going to villainize any food. I don't care what it is. It can be a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. If you want them, you can eat them. We're not going to we're not going to villainize food. But I had such a horrible relationship with food. We grew up super poor, didn't always know if I was going to get to eat that day, that kind of poor. Went to my neighbor's house a lot because they would have extra dinner. Mom and dad aren't home, they're at work. I'm going to go eat next door. So I know I eat kind of situation. So by the time there was food and I could control what I wanted to eat, I just ate everything, right? So I always knew, even before my husband and I had our son, I knew that I didn't want him to have a bad relationship with food. I wanted him to know how to eat for fuel, you know, and not demonize the food, like I was saying. So we have lots of conversations about um what different macros do. He knows all about carbs, proteins, and fats. He'll tell you immediately what he knows what things I'm not supposed to have. So he'll be eating something and he'll just be like, but you can't have it because it's got carbs. I'm like, you go to your room. Um, but he's very, very smart. And it does get kind of on my nerves sometimes that he is as smart as he is because he picks up on things very quickly. And I can kind of see when he's maybe going towards a negative sort of view of something. Like I'll make some cake and he'll be like, I'm not gonna have that much. Now, but we have a discussion about it. It's like, okay, well, why do you feel that way? Why do you not want that much? Or are you not having that much because you think it's bad? And he is on, he does a lot of gaming, he's online a lot. So he's starting to have little friends and talk to them about, and I guess maybe some things will come up about what people look like or maybe their weight. um but we have lots of really good conversations about how he feels about himself, how to tell if he's actually hungry or if you're bored, if you're just kind of eating to be eaten. um Trying to reintroduce better foods in there because he did sort of get in a rut. He's very weird about smells and tastes and things like that. So he'll go off foods for a period of time. He'll go off a whole vegetable. I'm like, man, what happened? What happened to this? What happened to green beans? Do we not eat those anymore? But everything is I don't know. We don't do negative, weird food stuff here. His dad just eats whatever he wants and stays in that shape. That's infuriating. But yeah, no, I very much don't ever want him to have to work through it. You know what I mean? Like if we can just instill it and teach it now, and he doesn't have to be 30 years old avoiding foods because he might get fat, like that's insane. Nobody wants their kid to go through that.
Yeah, well, I think that's powerful to kind of have that kind of your unique background and unique experience of kind of both sides of the coin, right? Of
Yeah.
both experiences and being able to share that I think is extremely valuable. Um, you know, we kind of chatted a little bit before about the specific, bodybuilding in particular and, different divisions and women's physique and, women's bodybuilding and, how there's definitely like a little bit of a popularity to the other divisions and
Yes.
how do you get more opportunities for people that aren't in those more popular divisions. And I think that that does change and probably will shift over time as
Yes.
trends change. But just in general, for not necessarily even the popularity to be popular, like we need this to be popular so we can be popular to because we're in it, but just for the opportunities, so people can compete at different shows, and different shows are having different divisions other than whatever is popular at a given time. um and so for you, when you're looking at like women's physique versus figure, for you, kind of dig into a little bit about like what made you kind of want to go that direction and what made you want to just kind of be, because it sounds a little bit like you want to kind of be a little bit of a voice for that as well. And I think there's a lot of power in like how you are just currently like a voice for yourself. So, I mean, do you have any particular like goals that you are kind of shooting for, or just things that you are hoping happens in general, or maybe more specific, or what are some of your kind of, I guess, aspirations in regards to just that side of it?
So this show I will be competing figure and physique, but I want to next season only compete physique. I think I have a good build for it. I'm tall though, so that's kind of but um gosh, I've always looked up to, even when I was really small, I loved the big bodybuilding girls, you know? Like I liked looking at them. I did go through that like period of my life, like when I was first losing weight, where I was like, I don't know about muscles, but I realized that was just like not being secure with my own self, and it's like a whole thing I had to work through. But I really, looking back at the lifespan of bodybuilding, I really think some of the best physiques we've ever had were like the women's bodybuilding girls. I love the big girls. I would love to eventually transition to women's bodybuilding. I have a lot of growing to do. I am tiny. I am a shrimp. I may look really big when I do that back double buy and post a check-in. I'm this big. I have a very small, I'm tall, but I'm a very small human. That is all an illusion. That's why we do proper posing, because we can make ourselves look like that, even though we don't actually look like that. Um, and as far as you were saying about like the different divisions and making more like opportunities for women in women's physique and women's bodybuilding, we are seeing a lot of athletes. And I think it is like a lot of people are going to like talk about the promoters and sponsors and stuff like that, creating the opportunities. But I think as athletes, we sort of have a responsibility to start creating those opportunities for each other. If we want to see the divisions grow, we want to see more women showing up for women's physique, we're going to have to do more as athletes. We saw Natalie Colo, just huge prize money for women's physique. Crazy, insane, right? That's going to be a huge thing. I think there are more athletes that could do more. Sarah is doing a lot as well. Um, it wasn't Natalie, it was Sarah that was doing the prize money. God, I'm swapped up in my brain because I'm trying to talk too fast. I think that if we as women's physique and women's bodybuilding competitors are more vocal about like the things that we need, um, and then just start showing up a lot. You can't expect a show to set aside all this time for three girls to show up. I get it. It's money, and it's in every sport in the world is about, how much money can we spend? How much time can we spend? And if they don't have the girls showing up to do the show, why would they keep the division? Like, why would they keep it in? So if we can show up more, and there is the argument that I've seen with, like, especially pro shows, the timing, because of the cycles and things that women are running to be able to compete at that elite of a level as an athlete. You don't want to run that kind of stuff year round and do all these shows and completely destroy your hormones and the rest of your body when you've got the Olympia coming, when we know the Olympia and the Arnold are really the shows that they're setting their sights on. So I don't know. I think it's like finding a medium of, like, what do we do? It's very touchy and it's very hard to figure out exactly what we do. But I know we start out by, as athletes, speaking up, showing up, and supporting each other more. Bikini and wellness have all the support in the world. Like, they are the most popular. That's definitely noticeable, especially on social media. My entire feed is like, and I don't hardly follow any wellness girls or bikini girls, but my whole feed is wellness and bikini girls. Like, I have to search to find a physique girl. It's because they're not posting, they're not being active, they're not sharing, they're not standing up, they're not talking about things and putting themselves out there. Like, how can we expect to have a voice if we're not speaking for ourselves?
Yeah. No, that's a really, really great way to say it. If you want it to be represented, start
Yeah.
by kind of putting yourself out there and representing
Yeah.
yourself a little bit. That's powerful. And do you think that there's any do you think that there's a specific reason behind, like, the physique and the bodybuilding women not posting as much?
I think that there are a lot of people who, and this just is in general, there are a lot of people who put too much value on what other people think and other people's opinions and what might happen. A lot of these athletes could have brand deals. They could have sponsorships that if they say the wrong thing, they could lose those. And I completely understand and I get it. I get it. I'm a sponsored athlete. I get it. There are some things that we don't talk about. Um, but also not, I don't know, not saying, like, there are a lot of people who don't want to say too much because they don't want to lose their following. They do, like, these people that have millions of followers, they're not going to come out and say anything to ruffle a feather. You know what I mean? And I just don't, like, I don't have a huge following, and I love the people that do follow me and I'm very grateful for it. But if I know in my heart that something is right and needs to be spoken on and something needs to be done about it, I'm going to do something because I'm not going to sit around and wait for somebody else to do it. Like, if I can do anything, I'm going to do it. And I it's not that I don't care what people think about me, because I very much do. I'm a bodybuilder. Like, we do this sport because it's vanity and we care what people think about us. But I don't worry so much about the repercussions of it because I feel strongly that I'm not doing something negative. Does that make sense? Like, not that I know I'm right, but I would never try to put out any information or say anything. Like, I wouldn't talk negatively about someone. All of the things I speak on, I think, are pretty positive and could create positive movement in the right direction for the sport or for the women's physique division in particular. I don't know. I just feel like somebody's got to say something about it. And people are starting to speak up. We are seeing physique and women's bodybuilding girls starting to post and say things. And I try to, like, reshare that. Be like, hey, we're out here. We're yelling. We're putting our fists up.
You kind of mentioned that maybe women's bodybuilding is in your future and trying to reach that. Is that something that you have talked to with your coach in regards to like, hey, this is maybe 2 years out or 3 years out, or this is something that I want to get to, but for now, let's just focus on physique. Or, I mean, do you have like a long term ish plan, or is it more along the lines of let's just get a little bit of experience, or what is that?
I have a long-term plan. I have a number. I had a number in my head. My coach won't discuss the number. I love my coach, Garrett White. He's fantastic. Also a firefighter. We love our firefighters. Um, I've spoken to him about what I want to do and discussed a timeline for it. He will not discuss a timeline for it, and I understand and I know why. Like because then you put the carrot in front of the rabbit and the rabbit's just like chasing it furiously. And if it's a 2 year run and a 5 year run are two very different things for the rabbit, right? So I would like to be competing women's bodybuilding in 5 years. I think I think I can grow enough in 5 years to do it. Um, but definitely, if not by next season, the season after that, be completely. So in 2 years, just be women's physique. I would love a pro card at some point, but you know, I think we all like everybody, nobody just starts bodybuilding and is like, I'm just gonna compete in bodybuilding. Everybody immediately is like, I'm gonna get my pro card. It's just the thing. And someone asked me the other day, they're like, so is like Olympia a thing you want to do? And I was like, oh, I would love that, but like I'm realistic and I don't know. I'm 41 and if I gave myself like 5 years. But then I've seen in like just the past week, I've seen two women over 50 win shows. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that doesn't matter anymore. We can't use that as a cop out that we're old and we can't do it anymore.
Time is valuable aspect to it.
Yes.
Like just but it's not a traditional kind of thing to where okay, I'm in my mid 30s, so my peak is over, right? It's when it
Yeah.
comes to the body, and especially when we're looking at like just how much that we've advanced in regards to like understanding nutrition, understanding how to work out and not like burn out workout, but work out more efficiently and more
Yes.
effectively, how to recover better, different supplements, whether they be just not I want to say experimental, but like newer things that people are just trying that may end up being, not like a huge change, but just that thing that is that 1% boost, or understanding that like massage and chiropractic and things are very powerful. Or there's just so much now that we understand that 10 years ago we didn't understand as much, and 20 years ago we didn't understand as much, and 30 years ago. So I just think that limit is continuing to be pushed in regards to like
Absolutely.
when is somebody actually at their best.
Yeah. Well, the wonderful thing about women's bodybuilding is it does take such a long time and so much muscle maturity to put on that kind of size, unless you're just like a mutant, which I would love to be a mutant. Uh, a lot of these women are like in their late 30s, 40s before they have that sort of muscle maturity. They've been training for 12, 15, 20 years to get that size. These women are enormous. That's an insane amount of muscle mass on a female frame. So you do have older girls up there, but you're right, we have so many advances in speeding up the process now and the recovery process and with learning about massage and chiropractic and all of the things you can do for recovery because if your recovery is good, your growth is going to be better. You know, we're taking things at more of a health approach now as to where like in the heyday of the sport with Arnold and everybody, they're just like, we're doing everything as hard and fast as we can, and who cares? When now, especially in the women's side of the sport, we're approaching things from a total health perspective. So it is making athletes last longer. There's more longevity. They're getting to be in the sport longer and grow more muscle. Things are getting very interesting. I think things are over the next 10 years in the sport are going to be really cool to watch some of the physiques that come out of the way that we're training and approaching things now.
I agree. It's going to be fascinating to see what the body looks like in,
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years, 20 years, just what the evolution continues to be.
Yeah.
And I also think it's cool to look back on like, the 60s, 70s, 80s and go like, wow, these people really didn't know what we know today, but they still look the way that they looked, which is fascinating. Like they just kind of figured
Yeah.
it out, that trial and error, that, I am my own experiment in a way. And what's your
Holy cow.
what's your outlook? What's your state, if you will? I mean, I know it probably changes very, very quickly when it
How am
comes,
I doing?
but yeah,
How
like
you doing?
what's going on in your head? What's going on in the in the prep files, if you will?
In the prep files, today has been a really good day. Uh, like you said, it changes by the hour, but all day today has been really good. Like I said about the seeing the photos, especially my check-in photos with coach this morning. I never thought I never thought I'd see a glute ham tie-in. Like I was, who has those? I was like doing posing and could see some glute striations. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like every day I see something that makes me just baffled that that I did it. Not that I don't know I can do hard things because I've done all the hard things. I like it. I pick it on purpose because I love a challenge. Um, but mentally, I'm so ready. Like it was a couple of days ago, I was on a run. So side note, but fun story. And my friend Jordan is also competing in this show in women's figure with me. She's not a physique girl, she's a figure and wellness girl. Um, she looks so fantastic. She looks so great. And I've kind of like I've even told her, I was like, I won't take second to anybody but you. Like, I know you are gonna kick my ass because you look phenomenal. And I was on my little run and I was in my head and I was like, you know what? I want I want to win. I don't care. It's like I don't care anymore. I think I might actually win. Um, but like that's just sort of where my mentality is like I don't have to settle. I don't actually have to take second place. Like I can actually just go for it all, you know? And looking at my body and accepting that that's a possibility is like the coolest feeling because like I've had a really rough time and I've been through a lot of really rough stuff that I've made it through, but I've never let myself accept until recently that things could be good and that I'm on the other side of it, you know? And I've just got like a lot of peace sort of about me, especially like the closer to show I get. It's like the hard work is done. Like we're still doing little stuff, but the work is done. All we have to do now is put on the sparkle bikini and the little heels and do the thing and the posing with the physique routine. That's the only place where I'm just sort of like terrified because like even the part that no they're not judging and they don't really care about is the part that I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna go well. Um, my nerves are really good. We're doing a really good job, my husband and I, of managing my stress, and he's picking up all the tasks that I'm just like, man, I can't do this right now. Like my son will come in the room and he'll be like, "Meh," and I'll just look at my husband. I'm like, tag, you're it. This is you, buddy. Um, I don't know. Things have gotten much, much easier I thought they would get harder the closer to show, but it's sort of like the storm is past and now we're just sort of coasting in. But it helps when your coach is like, you're ready, just chill.
Does hearing someone say that almost feel a little like scary in a way too, knowing like I don't want to chill, I want to keep going, I want to push, I want to
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm terrified. I think I need to be at the gym all day, every day. Like, I think I need to do, he's got me on very little cardio, like, where he's like, just go in there and get a pump, do 2 or 3 sets. Like, you're not doing PRs. We're just putting blood in there. And I'm like, I don't know how to process what you're telling me because I have been working hard for a long time. And now suddenly, whoa, 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 stop working so hard. Like, just chill. Like, put your feet up. Let's not have the legs swell. Like, and explaining to me, because I am a first time competitor, while we're doing the things we're doing is very important. And I think more coaches should do it. Like, explain to us why you're doing the thing that we're doing, because we don't want the inflammation. You don't want leg inflammation going into leg day, going into show day. I was just thinking about it. Sunday is my last leg day, and I'm terrified. And I'm like, what do you mean? He texted me. It's like, Sunday's your last leg day. I'm like, what do you mean? The show is, there's another week before the show. What do you mean Sunday's the last leg day? He's like, Sunday's your last leg day. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Yeah, no, I'm miserable right now with the work part. Like, there's so much I want to be doing, but I drink my water and I chill out. I don't want to screw it up being silly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, how crazy. It would be so ridiculous to like go try to do a PR and blow your knee out like 8 days before the show. Jesus Christ. Oh, nightmare.
Yeah. I can imagine like literally having some of those nightmares, like some of those dreams
Yeah.
of things that I mean, people have talked about it to me before on the podcast of like they'll be, in prep and they'll have a dream of that they're, this one guy said he was in a field and he just started like there was just boxes of pizza and he started eating and he woke up and he was like sweating and like but
Jeez. I'm so hungry. Like all of this would be so much easier with cheesecake. Just saying.
maybe you should
If we
start like a whole new system of how you can incorporate that within.
how to incorporate cheesecake into your bodybuilding diet, it's not possible.
It's $1 million
Arnold, somebody would have figured it out by now, I promise. No, like one thing I don't understand, like Instagram is so intuitive or psychic, or there's cameras in my house that are connected to it. Because like all of my reels late at night is just like food. And I don't search, I've never searched a food item, not ever on Instagram. But like, man, they're trying to sell me some Buckeye brownies right now. Like, why? Why is this happening to me?
I appreciate you coming on the podcast and chatting, with us here and sharing your journey and your experience. And, it'd be really cool to kind of get you back on here after your show and
Heck
as you
yeah.
start to kind of reverse or, whatever that next step is for you. I don't know, if it's more
Reverse,
another,
reverse.
I don't know if it's another show or whatever after that, but like just kind of follow up and see how that went and just continue the conversation because I think
Yeah.
it's one that is worth having to kind of shed some light on this experience to help some other people maybe that are going through similar situations. That's what this podcast is all about. So I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to, it's so crazy to me um that so many people are taking note and sort of like asking questions and letting me tell my story. It's I have nothing but gratitude. The past 2 or 3 months have just been crazy with the amount of people that have reached out that are starting from where I started from. And that's my whole reason for being on the electronic box is just to reach out and touch one part. If I can help one girl that thinks that she's not capable of doing something realize that she's capable of doing everything, man, I can sleep real good.
That's cool. That's a great goal to have. And if you want to share where people can find you and follow you, that'd be great.
You can follow me here on, oh, is this going to be on YouTube?
Will be.
Possibly on YouTube. Uh, I'm here on YouTube, the Kinkerbell, and I'm on Instagram, the underscore Kinker underscore Bell, Belle, like Tinkerbell. I don't have a website, so it's just that. Or you can find me on TikTok, but everything is linked on my Instagram. Instagram is the best way to see daily story updates, and we will be live streaming the show on June 8th. So check it out. Julie Palmer Showdown in Dayton, Ohio.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.